Have you ever been mistaken for a food safety inspector at a gas station and caused a panic? I walked into a sketchy gas station at 2 a.m. wearing a suit from a wedding, carrying a clipboard I'd been using to track fantasy football scores. The moment I entered, the cashier went pale and started frantically texting someone. "I didn't know you guys worked this late," he stammered, immediately starting to wipe down counters that looked like they hadn't been cleaned since the Clinton administration. I just needed coffee and was too tired to process his panic. I walked toward the coffee station, clipboard in hand because I had nowhere else to put it, and the cashier practically sprinted to get there first. "Let me just brew a fresh pot," he said, dumping out what looked like tar. "This has only been sitting for 2 hours, maybe 6. I wrote down my fantasy football calculations, and he saw me writing. His panic escalated. "Those hot dogs are from today." Well, yesterday, technically, but before midnight, he started throwing perfectly good hot dogs in the trash while I stood there confused, just wanting caffeine. Then the manager burst through the back door, clearly having been sleeping, shirt half-buttoned, toupee askew. "Sir, we weren't expecting an inspection. Our usual guy comes Thursdays." He started speed-walking around the store, barking orders at the cashier in what I assume he thought was subtle code. "Code red on the dairy! Check the dates. All the dates." The cashier ran to the refrigerated section and started pulling sandwiches. "These are only 3 days past." "That's still good, right?" He looked at me desperately. I shrugged, which he interpreted as disapproval. More sandwiches hit the trash. I grabbed a Red Bull instead of waiting for coffee, and the manager practically knocked it out of my hand. "Let me check that expiration." He inspected it like it was evidence in a murder case. 2025. "We're good. Unless, do you count energy drinks as perishables?" At this point, I realized what was happening but was too fascinated to correct them. I walked around the store, occasionally writing down fantasy stats, and watched them panic clean everything. The manager found me looking at the candy aisle. "Those Skittles are fresh." Well, candy doesn't expire, right? Or does it? Oh god, does it? He started checking every bag. I picked up a questionable-looking burrito from the warmer, and the cashier literally gagged. "Sir, those are... How honest do you want me to be?" "Very," I said, genuinely curious now. "My cousin got food poisoning from one of those last week. We call them death pockets. The manager makes us keep them until they sell or grow legs and walk away themselves." The manager shot him a death glare, then smiled at me nervously. "He's kidding. Those are our vintage burritos, aged for flavor, like cheese." The cashier, apparently deciding he was already fired, went rogue. "The bathroom hasn't been cleaned in 3 months. We just spray Febreze and hope for the best. Oh, and that nacho cheese? It's actually easy cheese mixed with hot water." The manager was sweating through his shirt. "Jeremy, why don't you take your break?" Jeremy laughed maniacally. "What? So you can blame everything on me? No way. If I'm going down, I'm taking the ship with me." "Sir, Inspector, sir, the ice machine has black mold. The coffee filters are from 2019, and I'm pretty sure something's living in the ceiling tiles." I decided to end their misery. "Guys, I'm not a food inspector. I just came from a wedding." They both froze. The manager's toupee slid slightly to the left. Jeremy dropped the armful of expired products he'd been gathering. "You're not?" the manager asked weakly. "Nope, just a guy in a suit who wanted coffee." I showed them the clipboard. Fantasy football scores. The silence was deafening. Then Jeremy started laughing hysterically. "We threw away hundreds of dollars of product. I confessed to crimes. I insulted the death pockets." The manager looked at the overflowing trash bins, calculated the loss, and just walked into the back room. We heard him scream once, then nothing. Jeremy gave me my Red Bull for free. "This is the most excitement I've had all year. Also, please don't ever come back here. The manager might murder you. Or me. Probably both." As I left, Jeremy was still laughing and updating his resume on his phone. The next week, I drove by and saw a sign, "Under new management. Now with actual food safety standards." Jeremy got promoted to manager after the old one quit to become a meditation instructor. He sends me pictures of his genuinely clean store with captions like, "You'd be so proud, Inspector." I'm invited to their annual "The Night We Thought We Were Busted" party, where they serve fresh food and tell increasingly exaggerated versions of that night.